Promise not to kick you in the face.
Hey, we're back on our bullshit.
Hey.
Welcome back to 30 Tuesdays.
We've been trying to go live for like 15 minutes.
Tonight,
we were early.
We are doing house party.
Oh, wait.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. This is our final Black History Month stream because today is the last day of Black History Month. Nikki, are you okay?
Yeah, my chair got caught on my mat and I had to I couldn't just leave it like that. It was going to drive me crazy.
You look like you were getting a quick workout in.
My inhaler is on standby.
All right, so to start, question I always ask. Raider, I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Do you remember the first time you watched House Party?
I don't. No, it was just always there.
What about you, Nikki?
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. It was one of those movies I wasn't allowed to watch. Until I was older, I'd only seen the dancing portion of that movie. My parents would call us in and we'd watch the dancing stuff and then they'd kick us out because there was too much innuendo. Yes. And, it was like a bunch of horny teenagers and, they had 3 little girls. They didn't want us to see that. So, yeah. I don't remember the first time I watched it.
Closely. I don't either.
I feel like it was definitely on TV. Like it wasn't, I was too young to go to the movies to see that. But it must have been some sort of Saturday, Sunday afternoon with commercials type of thing. So I saw the edited version.
Oh, what does the edited version sound like?
Oh, just,
what did they say?
You're freaking instead of, I'm going to kick your freaking ass.
Did they say ass in the edited version?
Or maybe it was something different. Yeah.
Right?
Maybe
see that. Like, it's such an iconic line.
Yeah. Kick your fucking ass.
In such a high-pitched voice. I love it.
Don't you wish you could say that to kids?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I keep telling my sister I'm going to teach my nephew the F word, and she's like, don't you dare. She's like, it'll be the one word he actually says. I'm like,
as you can see, Grimlock's back on his bullshit too. What's in your cup, Nikki?
I am drinking box wine today because I'm fancy.
Ooh. How about you, Radar?
Yeah. It's Woodbridge, I think.
Red Stripe.
Yes.
So I'm currently in a Jamaican house.
Yes. I am drinking a 32-ounce Guinness.
Cheers.
Dope. Cheers.
We should toast more regularly.
Yeah, we should. We really should.
We don't ever do that. It's 30 Tuesdays. What's the point?
It's 30 Tuesdays. You're right. All right. Let's get into the movie. What are your most memorable parts?
I'm going to start with the end. Yeah, because when I watched it, I felt like when he's sneaking back into the house, I felt that anxiety in such a real way because my parents won't watch this, but I was notorious for sneaking out of the house. I'd sneak out of the house to go see my boyfriend at the time and stuff. I was that kid, not supposed to have a boyfriend, but had one type of vibes. And it was really easy to sneak out. So I was gone, but it was always that moment when you had to come back and you didn't know, depending on how late you were coming back, like maybe a light upstairs was on that wasn't on before and you didn't know. And like the worst ass whooping I ever had in my life was getting caught sneaking out. Damn. Me and my sister were torn the fuck up. But now as an adult, I'm like, yo, all kinds of bad things could have happened to us sneaking out of the house at this time of night, just wandering the streets and going to parties and shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, watching him sneak back in the house, like I got like almost nauseous because I was like, you thought you were in the clear, and he's like, nope.
Yeah. You came up with ass whoopings were standard, like normalized.
Right.
Yeah.
We both did. We all did.
Nobody thought twice about that. Like,
yeah.
They're like, yes, use the belt.
Yeah.
Now you go to jail.
Right. Like, who are you going to tell about it? They just be like, oh, whatever. You probably earned it. You know.
I mean, remember the teachers used to beat you too.
Yeah.
That's still legal in 22 states, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
paddling
Was New York
children.
one of them?
No, no. If they hit my kid, I'd hit them. So there's that.
And I feel like, kids would come back and shoot teachers and stuff.
Yeah, apparently they don't. Well, they probably only paddle small children who can't reach guns yet. Radar, what's your standout moment?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say
I just
my
have to
comment.
just let that just.
I was gonna avoid commenting for fear of it getting darker. Just considering the time that we're in.
This took such a turn. What's your standout moment?
I mean, I'm an artist. I'm a hip hop artist, so obviously, anytime that they were rapping, so the battle that they had was something that stood out to me. I'm a sucker for a good rap moment in a movie, whether it's that Cold Crush Brothers versus Fantastic Five in Wild Style. Any time that cats get on the mic and rock is something that I'm like, oh, okay, let me check that out, see what's going on. So that stood out to me. Probably one of my favorites. I mean, besides the obvious like dance sequence.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
Everyone's
iconic
doing
dance
that,
sequence is like I was actually trying to do it yesterday. It's really hard now. I was trying to practice it. It's really hard.
It is really hard
at my big age.
I was watching and I was like, my ankle is not going to support those movements. It's just not.
No, I still have hip pain.
So. Yeah.
No, I was looking at footage of a Kid and Play like recently doing it, and even they're like dialed it down because they're in their 50s now. It's like they're not doing it how they did it in their 20s. It's just.
Did you know that the four of them choreographed that themselves?
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
I saw that in the credits.
Tisha Campbell was Miss Showbiz on the low.
Oh yeah, since she was a kid.
Yeah, killing the game.
Oh, we got Eliana. Drunk.
Hey, Eliana.
Song of Ice and Fire.
Hello, hey. Drunk Song of Ice and Fire. Hey, AK. I'm curious about this drunk Song of Ice. Oh, it's Chloe. Ah, okay.
Hola, ladies. Nice to see you again.
We'll soon be drunk Song of Ice and Fire. Just give us like 10 more minutes.
I know, right? We are careening towards the opposite of sobriety. Yeah, I think the dancing stuck out a lot too. It's like I would love to be able to do that dance, and I think that me and my sisters like would pretend and like at least do like the foot kicking. That part. But I think also it stands out in the movie. It's just like the music is just so good throughout. Like I've been listening to New Jack Swing all day long in preparation, and and I don't think like I think I was today years old when I was looking at a poster of House Party. I was looking at House Party poster, then I was looking at like Full Force on the thing, and I was like, oh, I didn't know they were in the book. Yeah.
No, it's funny that it's Full Force, like this like R&B group being these goons looking entirely
related because
too
they
old
look like cousins or brothers and stuff. Too old for high school.
Way
yeah,
too
they
old
were
for
all
high
too
school.
old for high school.
I watched this
Nobody
YouTube
in there
video
was like high schoolers.
a couple of weeks ago, and it's like, do people now look younger, or what's going on? Like, do people, because look at people in high school, like you look at these guys, look at like Grease, the notorious old people in high school movie, and they were saying that it's partially that they actually did look older because of nutrition and sunscreen and these things that they didn't do on a regular basis, and smoking aged everyone up. And I was like, oh,
yeah,
that's
hard
why
times
they
were
look
hard
like
back
they're
then.
ready to retire. Yeah.
I was gonna say, speaking of sobriety, that was one of the things in the movie that I found so wholesome, was like there was just that one guy who got drunk at the party and he was ridiculed.
Yeah.
Like nobody was doing drugs, nobody was drinking, like they were really just partying.
Oh, Groove.
Yeah.
Groovy chill.
Yeah. And we were like, that was like deep in the like say no to drugs dare era, like you're not cool if you get drunk. Like everybody was probably a little bit tipsy, but I feel like all those dare campaigns definitely scared me from doing those things. I remember being in like 8th grade and writing a paper about not smoking and like why it was bad and all this kind of stuff. And then I went on to be a smoker for like 20 years after that.
Look, hey, you can't blame yourself any more than Dr. Dre.
I blame growing up in Germany.
Dr. Dre was in NWA on Express Yourself talking about not smoking weed, and then he dropped The Chronic like a few years later. So
tables turned.
Yeah. I don't smoke because it causes brain damage, and brain damage on the mic don't manage. And then a few years ago, the Chronic.
He came back brain
That's
damage, like
hilarious.
He came back
slapping
brain damage.
and slapping women.
Yeah. And now he's got
They
a
should-
global
yeah.
humanitarian award or something like that from the Grammys.
Let's forget.
Yeah.
What abuse?
We all smoked weed too. That's so funny. I'm remembering that paper because in that paper at the end of it, I drew a coffin and a skeleton smoking a cigarette in it.
Wow.
And yeah, I was adamant that I was never gonna be.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to you know what? Can I just give you a personal shout out? It's been 3 years since I smoked a cigarette. This is my third year.
Congratulations.
I'm entering my 4th year of being cigarette free.
That's what's
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
I feel great. And I feel like I found the hack because I quit out of spite. I got into an argument with someone and I went and smoked. I was like, why? I was like, wait a second, I'm losing here. And then I stopped. Never smoked again.
Wow.
Like, you die. You die.
Yeah.
You guys made me lose my train of thought.
We're talking about the movie.
We were talking
all
about
the
the wholesomeness.
The wholesomeness. Let's talk about before he goes to school that day. He wakes up. Dad's home from work. He's made him breakfast.
Come down here and eat the shit before it gets cold.
It'd be a lot better if you stop calling it shit, Dad. And he comes down to like a full breakfast.
Yeah. I'm mad he woke up with a little hat in.
Oh, I loved it. He had his bonnet on.
He had a bonnet, yeah.
Yes.
I was like, word.
Like boop.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say. We were talking about the dancing, and I was gonna say for me, the dancing reminds me of my brother because anything with like dancing, he would always do it too. Like he would be like he'd do like the fly girl dances on A Living Color. He'd do the laughing dances. Like, so he would do the dances, and he also had the kid high top.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yo, if you were a black male between the years of like 87, 88 to like 92, you had that haircut at some point. I had that haircut.
I cannot picture you with that hair.
Oh yeah, if you
How tall was it?
It wasn't that tall, like, but it was definitely there. It was just the hairstyle to have because between Kid and Big Daddy Kane and like basketball players and stuff, it was just the style to have at that time. Yeah, you had to have the high top fade, you had to have the starter jacket, you had to have the Reebok pumps, that whole ensemble. You may have some cross colors going.
Yeah. I wanted Reebok pumps so bad, and
I thought they looked so cool.
Oh yeah, they were killing. I remember a homie came through class first day with them, and we all like crowded around his sneakers. Like, wait, so can you fit? We were pumping a little basketball on the tongue of his sneakers. So what does it feel like? It feels like I could dunk, bro. Give him the ball. Couldn't dunk. We was like, all right, maybe it's a height thing. Yeah, if you were 6 feet tall, then you could definitely dunk.
I agree, AK. Because I saw that breakfast on the table and I was like, just the toast.
And he just got off work, like she said. He just got off work. He's tired. He fell asleep.
That was a working ass dad.
Yeah.
And that was such a sweet moment too.
Harris.
Yes.
He was a gem in this movie. Like, oh yeah, that's true. Like the way he walked around muttering. I mean, I'm sure a lot of that was improvised. I'm sure a lot of it was improvised, but the way he would walk around muttering, and just like the jokes he made, he was just so funny in it.
So funny. And it's just, and it's just like and that he was modeling that after his parents, because your parents walk around like
he said, I'm gonna whoop it till I get sleepy and I'm awoke.
I just woke up. So you couldn't hide if with that Jerry curl. All they gotta do is follow the drip.
Follow the drip. Another thing that stood out was John Witherspoon's character saying, I spent $15,000 on this house. And I was like,
I spent $15,000 just to be getting a public enema.
I was stuck on the $15,000.
Yeah, me too. And then he like goes with this little hey cutie pie, which is like for me peak John Witherspoon.
I know Full Force didn't have a script written for them. They came up with all the dialogue that they spoke. So
No
kids were fucking
shit.
mad. Yeah, that was them. Like the Hudlin brothers, Reginald and Warrington, who wrote and produced the movie. When they pitched it, first off, Kid and Play weren't even supposed to star in the movie. You know, it was
Right. It was
supposed to be.
you said Will Smith, right?
Yeah, Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff, but New Line Cinema was the company that was putting it out, I believe, and they had already sued Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince because they had done a parody of Nightmare on Elm Street called Nightmare on My Street, and so they were like, you know, we're going to sue you for all this money, but here's some scripts, and Will and Jeff were like, that doesn't make any sense. We're not doing this.
Yeah.
And then for a time period, it was going to go to Groove Be Chill. But they didn't have like a big enough record. They had a song called It Ain't Nothing Like Hip Hop Music, and that was like a minor hit. But when it got to Kid and Play, they were like, oh, this is obviously it. And when Kid read the script, because Play didn't want to do the movie, you know, when Kid read the script, oh, just to preface, like why wouldn't you want to star in a major motion picture, you know? But at that time in hip hop, you know, it was seen as like selling out to a certain extent. It's like, yo, man, you're gonna do all that commercial stuff. This is like, you know, real. Yeah, it wasn't like the rant that a lot of cats go on about hip hop.
Real hip hop, real hip hop.
Yeah, that whole kind of thing. But there was definitely an uneasiness because this culture was still in its infancy, and the people who you know made the music were very protective of its representation in the marketplace. So to, you know, be in a movie, it was like, all right, on one hand we kind of dig this, but on the other hand we don't, because, you know, let's face it, there was a love-hate relationship with movies like Breakin'. There was a love-hate relationship with like the breakdancing in Flashdance, and know, there was blowback, you know. So Kid and Play was skeptical. Kid was like, yeah, let's do it, but it was like 70% there, so he said. And Full Force and Kid and Play filled in the rest. So Full Force came up with all their dialogue, because the Hudlin brothers were like, look, there are some
that makes
things
it even funnier.
It does make it even funnier.
They were like, there's some things that we have to have for the sake of the plot and the story, but they let them kind of fill in the rest and be like, look, what's natural here, and just say,
that's amazing. That's amazing. Because like I think about like just like how many times like I'm gonna kick your fucking ass is said in the movie, and it's so funny. And like a shout out to a song of Ice and Fire, because that always makes me think of Shaga. I'm gonna cut off his manhood and feed it to the goats. And I'm just like, oh, I was like, you could have been the same person. And yeah, that's amazing. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's rapper fact number one.
I like it. What was I just about to say? I was about to say something about Full Force, but I lost it because I started thinking about shoving manhoods into goat mouths. Completely knocked my thoughts out of my head.
I mean, it'll do that. Because what are the logistics of this?
Do goats even like that?
I don't know.
Shout out to George Clinton's cameo too.
Yes. Yeah.
As the board DJ. Oh, you know what part made me think of you, Radar? When he was putting all the stuff in the trunk and the way he was
Yo, I thought about you too. That gave me such anxiety, because I'll let you talk about on a DJ perspective, but I was telling Tanya this earlier. I went to a game yesterday at MSG, and the guy, like, I had to unpack my bag. I have this little like cute like backpack purse, and like I put everything in there, and he was trying to put everything. He's like, how did you get all this stuff in there? And I was like, you just do. It's like Tetris, like you figure out how to do it. And I'm the person who, when my parents like go out, like I'll pack the car, because it drives me crazy to let anybody else do. I'm like, this is how you can fit, like everything can fit. I promise you just got to do it like this. So watching him shove those speakers.
I think he threw the crate of records in. He shoved the speakers, like the thing was scraping it, and then the bottom piece just broke off, and he just tossed it to the side. How did you feel, Radar? Did you need to see your therapist after that?
Yeah, I mean, I cringe every time I see that scene. I didn't cringe when I was younger, but now that I'm a DJ, like it's like nails on a chalkboard. There are two moments in movie cinema that make me cringe the most as a DJ. That's one of them, where they're shoving all the gear in the car, and like the hatch for the trunk is scraping the side of the speaker, and it's just, that's the nails on the chalkboard moment, you know. The other one is this Black character who only shows up for this one scene in High Fidelity. His name is Lewis, and they're in the record store, and there's this customer there trying to buy a copy of Captain Beefheart's album. Real person, real album, by the way.
Captain Beefheart.
Yeah, not bad music, but like,
sounds like he loves weights.
But he's
Eats organ meats.
yeah. So Black is teasing this customer over this Captain Beefheart record. He's like, "No, you can't have it." And so he gives it to this black guy named Lewis, and he's holding it like by the edge of the record. Oh, I have a record on me. Actually,
Of course
so I
you
can
do.
Yeah.
DJ Radar.
Wow,
Pew,
wow,
pew,
shocking.
pew.
Radar has a record on him.
I'm gonna
I am
use
just shocked.
This is the last day of Black History Month. I'm going to use the Afro Americans' Quest for Education, A Black Odyssey. This is a
Okay.
narrated piece of vinyl put out by Pepsi. So,
Oh.
yeah, this is
Well,
from 1969. Anyway, he was holding the record in the sleeve like this. So it was bending the cover. And
Oh God.
yeah, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, just hold it right. Just so yeah, I get really bad like anxiety off that house party scene with the trunk and that scene in High Fidelity. Those are
I have a follow-up question for you about that. How did it feel to make you? Does it make you feel to see them drive off without you and all your shit in the car?
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't
Because
feel
how's he
bad.
gonna unpack it?
Yeah, I don't feel as bad about
The girls
that
aren't gonna
because-
help him.
Yeah,
He's just
I
gonna
mean-
throw that shit on the ground.
For folks that don't know, we got a homie. His name is Vic, and there have been times where I've done parties and stuff, especially parties with Vic, and he's come to pick my stuff up and drop it off, and then I show up a little bit later or something like that. And there have been situations where I've done like homies parties where all right, the car isn't big enough to fit you and the gear, so go get the gear. We'll come back, get you, and it's been no problem. So I've never had a problem with that. But I would have a problem if that was the specific situation, because that's kind of whack. You pull up and you're throwing all this stuff in the car and you got this honey in the seat, but like I gotta go too. I gotta,
and they're both right. She's
and
like,
then
I'm not getting out of the fucking car. You came and you picked me up. Why would I? And why is he being rude to me? He's like, but it's all my shit. Like, I get where they're both coming from.
But like he said, he's coming right back, and he like went home, showered, and changed and everything.
Yeah.
Can we highlight Vixen 5's comment, because I
was just about to say
Kay was the worst.
Let's talk about how Play ain't shit.
He's
Exhibit
the
one.
Carrie
Exhibit A.
from Sex and the City of House Party. Period.
Exhibit A, when Kid says
worst.
that he and Sydney didn't have sex because he didn't have a rubber, and he's like, so she was down and you were down and you didn't do it because you didn't have birth control. He's like, I'm not trying to have any kids right now. And he's like, that's her problem.
There's so many times I wanted to hit him in the face in this movie. Honestly, probably smash
Good hair.
In the car. Yeah, man.
I was told you guys a story about that offline.
Yeah. Smashing old girl in the car. Okay.
Yeah.
Look forward to hearing it.
Now Play is the worst. He is the worst. And it's just like, how are you so flying such a piece of shit?
Yeah.
Like, it's your party. Like, there's the scene. He's like, my parents are gone. I got the house keys. I got the car keys. I got everything. And it's like, I love like the little efforts that he makes to like, because he's very self-centered and protective of history. He's like, oh, nope, you guys aren't drinking out of my mom's glasses. You get the plastic cups.
Yeah.
He's hiding all the things. But it's just like, come on. You're putting everybody, like making everybody else suffer for you to be the cool guy at the party. Because it's like, when you first meet him, you think that he's like going to be cool and popular, but he gets played in the cafeteria too, like more subtly. But he gets played in the cafeteria like, am I going to come to your party? Like, whatever, maybe.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't think he really redeemed himself until the end of House Party 2, when he sold the car to pay kids' tuition. That was like the moment where it's like, okay, you're not all bad,
right?
I mean, he did what he needed
bad.
To do. Yeah, he's mostly bad. Yeah.
Which House Party is the one with TLC? Is that 3?
That's 3. Yeah.
I like his outfit.
I liked how everyone was wearing how all the guys were wearing suits
at the party.
Also, I like how hard everyone was dancing, and that makes me wish that I was like a full adult in the 90s.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, because like the last time I saw people dance that hard was like when I was going to parties in Europe. Like, they didn't care about how they looked. They just like sweat it out and like dance off beat, clapping on the fucking wrong ones and shit. And but it was doing all of that, but like having a really, really good time. And it wasn't until I moved to New York that I was like, why is nobody dancing? Everybody's
Yeah.
just kind of like standing against the wall, looking at each other, popping pop. And I was like, what is this culture? Like, aren't we here to dance? I paid money to get in here. Why is nobody just like sweating?
Yeah.
Why is your makeup like not on your knees? I don't
The
understand.
only time I saw that here, like it was a group of women and they were so coked out. So it was
Mm.
understandable why they were dancing so hard.
I think.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple times too. Bachelorette parties in the village.
Yeah, I moved
This
to New
girl did the
York.
worm.
Somebody did that at your birthday, remember?
Somebody did do that. This keeps happening when I go out.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Girls
The
doing
One
the
with your birth.
worm.
That's right. They were doing it
You
right in
don't-
front of us, and we were sitting there
You
like,
don't have
"What?"
to ask. Because the
Yes.
answer is yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
1,000
That's
times
right.
yes.
Oh my gosh, I remember us sitting there and being like, "That is so nasty."
The
Look at
floor was
this.
disgusting.
Yeah, it's
We were at a place called Whiskey Tavern. Shout out to Whiskey Tavern and Tanya Radar for helping plan my birthday. Because it was like, I love a dive bar and it was awesome, but it was absolutely a dive.
Yeah.
If something fell on the floor, I would have left it and walked away.
it was 2 or 3 white girls
Even if it
in
was
like
my
short
phone.
skirts.
They
That
were
was the
like
thing. They were
22.
dressed. Yeah, they were like 22, and they were like dressed to go out, and they
Mhm.
decided to do the worm on that dirty ass dive bar floor,
Yeah.
right in front of our table.
Like, why are you even here dressed so nicely?
Yeah.
Like, this is where you ended up?
Those are freshmen.
They
Those
had
are
no idea where to go.
freshmen with fake IDs before the semester started. They were all RAs, I'm sure. All those things.
Gotta be.
Ugh.
So
Gotta be.
Shireen and Sydney. First of all, I love Shireen. I wanted to be her. I wanted to wear a bodysuit and a belt and crimp my hair. I did try crimping my hair. I also did do finger waves in the 90s.
Really?
I also had the finger wave mullet, which was so
Wow.
fire back then. I wish I had pictures, but I
They'll
don't.
cringe about that later.
Will they?
And there is our baby on the floor. Thank you, Max. Thank you. Yeah, I was obsessed with Shireen. Like, she was like a style icon to me. I wanted to wear like Doc Martens with those high socks, the scrunchy socks,
Yeah.
and just
Oh,
I
scrunchy.
remember
miss
thinking when
scrunchy
I grow
socks.
up, I just thought like when I grow up, that's exactly how I'm gonna dress.
Yeah.
Her and Sandra from 227 were like my style icons
Oh, I can see that.
when I was a kid. I was like, I'm gonna dress like them.
Yeah.
It didn't
I
happen.
mean,
Yeah, I like their outfits. It's just so. I mean, I love throwing a belt around anything. I just don't do it because I don't go out anymore. But like, I was like the belt under the titties person with like the dress or the whatever.
Oh, the
like,
big thick wrestling ass belt. Oh,
oh,
hell
absolutely.
yes. Hell yes,
Absolutely.
my favorite. I have one that I'm just waiting for the opportunity to wear. And it's just like all the fashion. It's 100%. But all the fashion from the thing, it's like everybody. Like I saw this meme months ago about like why did people in the 90s when they something about when they got dressed up to go to the club, they looked like they're going to job interviews, which is why I'm wearing this. But it was true. Like people, you
But
got
that was
dressed.
the early
You're like,
2000s too. We
you
definitely
know?
were hitting the club
Oh.
and business cash.
yo, I don't want to
I
talk about
love
the early
it.
2000s men fashion because I still have nightmares. Jay-Z ruined it for everybody.
Ugh.
Talking about the jeans and the button up with the blazer and the baseball fitted.
It was like Bizarro Boys to Men.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like the
Don't
perfect
get
way of
started about
describing
Boys to
it.
Men, Tanya.
I love Boys to Men.
What do they do,
and
Tanya?
They make under the clothes, over the underwear music. And I love it. I love
Ready
it.
for some dry humping with
Absolutely. Absolutely. We make dry hump music. That's not a bad thing. Dry
That's
hump
not a bad
music
thing.
has a place.
Mm-hmm.
And that place is for when they call it necking.
Yeah.
The necking, the Is It In playlist.
Yes. Touch the titty, but over the bra. Yeah.
Jackie C, what up?
What do?
Shireen also the way she I liked how she was so casual about which one she was gonna date.
Yeah.
Like she was like,
Mhm.
well,
She was
they're
like-
both cute, so let's just see really what happened, what will happen.
Shireen
And-
really. Oh,
Go ahead.
Shireen really understood the value of like the sexual organ stock market.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, I'm hedging my bets, guys.
She said dick is abundant and of low value.
Yeah, it's penny
Mhm.
stocks.
She said I'll just gather a few, see which one I like.
But you know what I realized is that like as I watched it this time, I was like, it was the first time I'd ever had the inkling that she was probably a virgin. And was
Because
just
she wouldn't
talking
even
shit.
kiss play at the end.
Mm.
Mhm.
Remember?
Yeah.
And then of course
It's
he
like-
pretended that she did. Do I have lipstick on me?
Yeah.
So Play was absolutely the
Wax
guy who
City.
lied on his dick.
Mm-hmm.
Trash.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I
you know,
mean-
they are supposed to be in high school.
That's
And I
true.
took that
which I guess
personally.
they
I thought Sydney was a little bit crazy. The way she like was dissing Play, but then also interested in him, but then dissing him, and then being mad that Shireen was like shooting her shot. It's like,
I
girl,
was like,
up
make
your
your
mind.
mind and commit, because I feel like Shireen was just like, you know what? I know that you're not going to do anything anyway, but I still feel like Sydney is the one who was giving it up on the low.
I mean,
know,
it
we had to
wasn't
talk
her
about it.
first time when
Yeah.
She's like,
she
"You
just
have
said I don't
a-
do it all the time.
Yeah.
She didn't
Yeah.
say this is my first time. It's like, oh, okay, you calling Shireen a hoe?
Mhm.
Mm.
Are you projecting, my dear?
A
Mm.
little bit. A little bit.
I mean, it
Ugh.
makes sense. You know, Sydney was like, from what I saw, you know, she was in that big house and she the only child. Shireen was living like
Mhm.
with 15 people in a project building. You know,
But
so-
and Play says that he's like, why? He's
Yeah.
like, you don't want this girl. He's like, you're never gonna be alone with her. Everybody's at the house, and you get
Mhm.
to her house, and everybody's there watching TV. Max, what movie do you want to do? Because we want you on 30 Tuesdays.
Yes, please say.
Be
Please
fire.
tell us.
Drop it in the comments. We'll do it just for you. But yeah, no, it was like this whole thing, and it's like if somebody, you said earlier that Play was definitely classist, but it's just like, oh, but so was Sydney, and trying to pretend like she wasn't. She's very stuck up, but I feel like that's where all the colorism comes into play in this movie, and
Mhm.
that's a whole other topic.
Mhm. One thing that I guess also stood out that isn't funny was the fascist cops.
Oh,
And the
Ugh,
fact that that's
I
like
was dreading
still a
them.
thing. I know. The fact that that's still a thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because like it wasn't funny, but it was a little bit funny, but then it wasn't funny like back then. But now it's just like, I can't laugh at this. It's not funny at all.
Because it's like, well, this is still
it's
a
like
thing.
you would have all died, and like now you would have all died. It's not like a question of whether you would. Like now that like Robin Harris dead, period. Like,
I know what
yeah.
I was gonna say earlier about Full Force. They went really quick from kicking some fucking ass to arson and murder.
yeah.
Only
Like that
one
was
of them,
elite.
though.
Well, yeah,
Right?
but still, that was a
And we
big
talked about
jump.
this last week or the week before, right? We're just like, whoa,
Like slow down. You're gonna
Like,
burn
wait.
down the house.
If people hit them out as they come out of the building. They went so far as
so
to get
two of them
gasoline.
really-
Look,
Literally
hey,
just didn't have his lighter on him.
I was gonna let it rock because it's like if you're gonna go all the way.
It's like,
Word.
you're gonna set somebody's house
Yeah.
on fire, though.
I mean, you know,
A house full of people.
they're supposed to be awful guys,
Like,
right?
are you
They
mad at
everything's
all of
fair.
them? They would have shot the whole party up.
Yeah,
They're definitely those guys.
yeah.
I
They're
feel like if
definitely
it
those
was
guys.
like, it's like, I don't know. Do we know where this movie was supposed to have taken place?
Some suburb
I don't know.
or some.
Some suburb, but it's
Yeah.
just like, because I'm thinking, because like after I watched House Party, I was telling Tanya that I watched Friday for the first time, like by myself all the way through, because it's another movie I want to watch, but like also that I always come in when other people are watching it, and I was just like, it's not a West Coast vibe to this movie, and that's why I was asking. I was curious
Maybe.
that they were like,
Maybe they're in Long Island. I don't know. Black part of Long Island.
that
I have
tracks.
no idea.
Yeah, maybe they lived around where De La Soul was from.
I thought my beer was like empty.
Or
so I
maybe
went to
like in
go-
Queens.
I went to go pour the last drops in, and there was definitely still beer in there, and I almost spilled it on my laptop.
Oh no.
It just like went to the rim and is now settling down. Everything is safe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If we're gonna talk about the cop things, it's just like, okay, like it was awful. Like they're like, oh no, we're not gonna call this in. And I was
Right.
like, that made me nauseous, you know, like, oh. And then finally they end up taking them to jail, and there's that whole
Yeah,
freestyle
that
Oh,
happens there,
homophobic
but-
rap.
yeah, that
Yeah.
wouldn't really fly now, calling people booty
no.
wranglers.
No, that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But you
And
know
just
that,
making it that everyone was so eager to like get in his butt. Like, isn't this just like
It's
central
pulling
booking
straws
the
to
whole
see
yeah,
thing?
it's
who
just
goes
central
Aren't
first.
y'all gonna be out tomorrow?
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. It was a weeknight. It wasn't even like a Friday.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah, 'cause
just
it's-
central booking.
Yeah, it's just central.
Like it's not even jail yet.
You haven't even had the
Max.
hearing, and you're just ready to go for it.
Like you literally got arrested like 30 minutes ago and you're already turning to this.
You know, it was interesting because like, you know, when I listened to that rap and like he has a line about the possibility of catching AIDS, and I was like, oh yeah, this was still like the height
Mhm.
of the fear and how they assumed it was just, all right, well, you're gay, so you're gonna get AIDS.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, it's just wow, okay, y'all. Damn, this was all tied in. Jeez.
Yeah.
Magic
God,
Johnson
what a
just
different
shattered that shit.
time.
Magic Johnson showed up like, oh, wait, no.
No,
I'm gonna
everybody.
live forever. He's gonna outlive
Sorry.
us all, like
Yeah.
Auntie
Looking at my
Grace.
notes.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, it's like we talked about this through some of the other movies that we did this month, but it was just like, you know, things that like cultural references that you wouldn't get unless you knew the songs of like pop culture of that time. Like when
Yeah.
Robin Harris is telling us like every little step you'll take will be around this bedroom.
Mm,
Like I
mm.
died laughing
Yeah.
because I know that song, but if you don't know that song, it's not funny.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That was hilarious.
It's like this is a cool dad. He's up on his shit. He knows what's going on. He knows his
Yeah.
son. He's very aware. But he's like, no.
Every
Yeah.
little step
Right,
you take.
Garvey.
I know. You can see his hands and his feet
Oh.
going, right?
But it's like
Yeah.
it's so because he's like so connected. Like you got every little step. He's like quoting like every little step you take on one hand, but then also quoting Dolomite on the other. Right?
Mhm.
It's like he is
Way
the
down in
lineage.
the jungle deep. He's
The
like,
fact that he
Oh.
quoted that in 2 different movies.
it means he loves it for real.
Yeah, he's really about
Mhm.
Dolomite.
That was his last movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a heart attack 9 days after it premiered. I know. It was like right after.
Gone too soon.
Gone too soon.
We should do a 30 Tuesdays episode about comedians who are gone too soon because I would love to do. We could do Robin Harris. We could do Bernie Mac.
Mm.
We
Cry
could do
a little.
We could do problematic Richard Pryor.
Don't encourage him, Max.
Grim Lizzie.
But you know what I did like, if to just kind of to counter the cop stuff, is that they go to the like the bougie black party and the people there are like, no, we're protecting our people. You know what's gonna
Yeah.
happen. You know, it's like they weren't happy that they were there, that they showed up to their party and ruined it. But
Oh.
they weren't gonna sell them out either.
Yeah. You know, something I really liked about that whole backyard party scene with George Clinton and Kid. You know, when Kid pulls up on him, he's like, hey, you know, what records do you got? And he's like, yeah, I got all these old records or whatever. And then Kid starts breaking it down. All right, well, why don't you get this record with a beat and you scratch over here and then I'll get on the mic. And then George is like, do that again. He didn't like shoo him off. He wasn't like, nah, we're not going to do that. He's like, all right, let me figure out how I can rock with you. And I just thought that was a really like dope generational like sharing to, you know, because now it's like all ageism is like, you know, oh, you're old or, you know, or you're a young cat who doesn't know anything. But that scene, that moment,
real hip hop.
That moment right there was a real generational connection, especially since, you know, so much of hip hop sampled George. I think he like understood that even back then at the time. He's like, oh no, these are like my kids. I mean, it makes sense when you think about it, you know, because directly around the time that Parliament Funkadelic was dropping Atomic Dog, Africa Bambaataa and the Soul Sonic Force were putting out Planet Rock, looking like descendants of Parliament Funkadelic. So George was on that early, and I think putting him in that movie was the hip hop world just being like, nah, yo, you're Uncle George, like you should party with us, like get down with us.
George, I love it.
The one thing that bothered me was that he had a 45 adapter on a 12-inch record. I'm looking at that movie and I'm like, why is there a 45 adapter? He's got a 12-inch. The spindle hole is too small for this thing. It doesn't make
credibility strike.
George
agree.
George Clinton seemed kind of cool. I saw him live once in Brooklyn.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I met him. We I met him in France. I was out there with Fred Wesley, his band Abraham Inc. And George was out there in France. It was this this shipyard. So like we were performing and there was a pier right next to us. We were on one stage and George was at this other stage, and he came through to our sound check, saw the first part of our gig. And you know, he and Fred Wesley, for those that don't know, he was a trombonist in Parliament Funkadelic. He was also a trombonist in James Brown's band. He left James Brown's band along with, you know, a bunch of that first generation crop of musicians because James wasn't paying them. and James was super strict. He not only was he not paying them right, but he was also fining them on stage. You know, the infamous finings that James Brown would do. And yeah, so you know, Fred went from James to George and rocked with him for a while. And then they met up when we were doing that gig, and they were talking and just carrying on. And he was such a nice guy. And then the next day we all caught a train, and like we were riding to the next stop. And I was like, yo, I'm really on a soul train. I'm sitting here with Fred Wesley and George Clinton on this train, and they're just swapping stories and just sharing like the knowledge and stuff. But George was such a nice guy. Like,
I just wanted you to see I just wanted you to see Max's comment.
Oh. That's love, Max. Yeah, no, it was, hey, I've been blessed to be in a lot of good places.
Awesome.
Doing my Forrest Gump. I just show, hey, this shit is just happening in front of me. All right.
What are your other like favorite parts of this?
I like when
That's how
Martin
I
is
think of
slow
it.
dancing.
Oh my God. Yeah.
When Bilal is slow dancing, he's like singing all up in her face, and she's just like
rolling her eyes and popping her gut because he was dragging his breath.
Like, why did like this boys? And the thing is like you could tell his boys know it too, you know, and they're just like nobody's like, yo, here's some gum. Yeah. Here's some whatever.
No one gave him gum.
Double mint. Nobody gave him gum. Nobody gave him mint. Like nobody like was like, hey. Maybe
why
they
was he
couldn't get
singing
sponsorships for this movie?
Why was he singing the lyrics like a whole bar or two after?
Oh my God! Like he's like, I wanted.
You know, they added the music later.
He was just like, oh, that shit was so funny because. But you know what I also liked about it was just like the whole act of like we talked about this in like Coming to America too. Is just and I'm gonna get you second too. It's just like the whole act of Love Jones. The act of going up to a woman or a man at a party and being like, I want to dance with you, and having to have that you know that interaction. You know, like she was like, I'm not gonna be the only one not dancing here. Like, okay, I guess I'll dance with a DJ with a bad breath, but like, you know, it's a whole thing.
It's a lost art.
As an aside, Grimlock has sprayed milk everywhere.
All right, party started. Look, I still be asking Tanya out on dates. We're gonna be married 10 years now.
I love it.
You know,
do you ever worry that I'm gonna say no?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm the type to do it.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, I'm worried she's gonna say no and be like, no, and then she's gonna go kick it with you, Nikki, or you know, go kick it with one of the homies or something, like, you know, because I constantly get outdone with my love and my gifts.
I would be like, I'm not saying no because I like free food and drinks.
That's true.
I'm gonna say yes.
That's true.
Yeah, no, I'm always trying to, you know, stay on top of things so that I don't get lost in the sauce.
You know, I like babysitting your kids because they're awesome when I come over.
They're goons.
They go to sleep on time. They eat all
like
their
polite
waffles.
With me, they're screaming and banging their cups and spraying milk.
Yeah.
So funny.
Children are trifling. Let me tell on myself. Hey guys, I lost my kid at the airport this weekend. My baby. So that was fun. I didn't tell you.
News.
I lost Grimlock.
Breaking news. What?
I thought CPS was gonna be waiting for me at my gate. I went to fold his stroller and put it on the belt. I folded it, put it on the belt, and turned around to pick him up, and he was just gone. I didn't see him anywhere. And then a TSA agent was like, is anybody looking for a baby? He had already made it back to where they scan your tickets.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not going. I'm not going.
I don't want to go home. Take me back to Gam Gam.
Yeah. if my part in making this child wasn't solely the fun part, then I would probably be more upset. But you just told me that, and I was like, all right, well, you got him back. Cool. I have no skin in the game on that. You did all the hard work anyway. So
No, I found him just in time to not have a panic attack.
word.
Well, I didn't find him. TSA found him
They're
and
just
returned him to
he's
me.
just like, do you have a pouch for me?
Put the cop in a leash for them.
So you know what's funny, Max, is I have a backpack leash and I also have the handcuff type, but usually this isn't a problem. So I didn't even think I needed it, but now I know that I do need it. And yes, AK, yes, he is pure chaos. Because not only did he make it back to where they were ticketing, he was going, when I saw him, he was going underneath the TSA agent's legs because she was blocking his path. Like he was trying to get the fuck up out of there.
I told Tanya, I was like, this is the kid that will hide the bodies.
Yeah, he keeps hiding stuff.
It's like my favorite picture of him and Ellington, or like when they're in the little corner and like Ellington's smiling like this, and then he looks like he's reaching in his back for his gun. I was like, what is happening in this picture? It's so funny.
Yeah, he's a goon. He's in full force.
Full force. I like the little pep talk that they give at full force, where they're just like, wait, he's like, what are we doing? He's like, this is not right, fellas. We're nervous. We're tense. He's like cops. He's like, the cops are doing like, what are we doing? He's like, yeah. That whole speech is hilarious. And I also love, I love their freestyle too about kicking his fucking ass.
Oh yeah.
Or when he runs into the door and he's just like, but he's like, is your shoulder okay?
Oh yeah. It's funny too because Kid, as much as it's like they were bullying Kid, he was also absolutely bringing it on himself.
Yeah. He was, and
I loved it.
Like, I loved it too because Play wasn't doing any of that.
No,
he wasn't standing up. He was just like, oh, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna talk shit. He's like, I know I got. Yeah, no,
I can shut this door.
I know I can shut this door.
Play had a singular motivation, and that was pussy.
Absolutely.
That was it.
And he didn't
by
get
any
any
means necessary.
Yeah, and he didn't get it. Yeah.
And he didn't get any. He didn't even get a kiss from Shireen.
Played. That's why I love Kids freestyle at the party so much. He's like, you didn't play, you got played out, and everybody's like, oh,
that's still a bar in 2023.
It really is, though.
That is still a top 10 bar.
I'm gonna watch that again later. Oh,
because Kids spelled backwards describes you best. It's like, oh my
god, that whole verse. It's just like, okay, that was the first one was cute, and then he came back and it was just like, oh,
yeah.
It's just flame emoji.
Yeah, it's totally, and it's just like it like makes you realize just how insecure Play is throughout the whole movie. He's like the epitome of a people pleaser. Mm-hmm. He just wants to be. He just wants to.
What I love? I love the scene where he's home cleaning up and he's dancing and he tries to do the skip thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And falls down and like looks around and brushes himself off. Like I thought that was so funny to show him in that light. Like this, he's supposed to be this smooth, suave guy, and he's practicing dancing and busting his ass
with a vacuum cleaner that plugs in.
Yo, for real, that freestyle would lead to gunplay now. Someone would have died at that party.
Yeah, I hope no.
Yeah. These days, someone would have died in that party, and someone would have put out a record with the dead person's name in the chorus.
Ooh, I smoke. That reminds me of a party I went to where the guy I was dating, he took me to this party. It was a house party, and he made a big deal out about backing in instead of parking like front ways. And I'm like, why? And he was like, because they don't act right if the liquor runs out. And I'm like, what are you even talking about? Because I was young and naive, it was early 2000s. And sure enough, there was like very few women, a whole bunch of dudes. And then they ran out of liquor and he was like, let's go. And we left. And as we were driving off, we heard gunshots.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. So that is what happens when there's not enough women and too much testosterone in the room.
She won't see you tomorrow if I don't cut tonight.
Yo, that's a horrible bar.
Too many
that was
not enough hoes.
what was that? That was the on the soundtrack. I think that was for Triple X or something. That was Pastor Troy and Timbaland. Are we cutting?
Terrible bars.
I just
Terrible
want to
bar.
know, are we cutting? Are we cutting? Are we cutting? Hell yeah, hell yeah. She won't see tomorrow if I don't cut tonight. Like that was a single.
That's awful.
Right. That's horrible.
I mean, but then you got like Cameron, like, is we fucking or not? You know.
Yeah.
I do like that song.
To answer your question, Max, I lived in Miami.
That says everything.
Hopefully that covers everything.
That does explain a lot.
I hope that covers everything. I lived in
Yeah.
Miami, South Miami.
I miss
Actually,
a good
the
house
neighborhood
party.
I was in is the neighborhood where Trick
Yeah.
Daddy's from.
Oh.
I love Trick Daddy. Shout out to
Yeah.
Trick Daddy.
No, I wanna go to a house party again. I want a DJ house party again.
Watching this movie
Can we
made me want to
yeah.
have a house party for my birthday.
Oh, okay.
I would love, yeah. But can we rent a house for you to have a house party for your birthday?
I'd be down for that.
That's
a lot of
actually kind of a fair
Airbnbs
idea.
don't want you to have parties now, though, which is stupid.
Yeah,
Why else would I be renting a house?
Yeah.
So last year I was looking for our team to go to Newport Jazz Festival, and that was when I didn't know what I wanted to do for my birthday. And I was like, oh, you could just rent like a house at Newport before beach season opens and just throw a party there. But like a house, like it made me really want to have a house party.
Max, I can't stop you.
Maxine, I'm gonna need you to log off now. Put your computer away. I'm gonna please do that for me. Okay.
I haven't seen him recently, so I really don't know. So my Trick Daddy is always like a featured verse Trick Daddy or baby I'm a thug Trick Daddy. I don't know what he looks like.
Please
now.
log off, Maxine, and close your laptop.
Oh my god.
You've had enough
No,
tonight.
stay. I'm inviting you personally to stay.
Yo. Oh.
Yeah, I think we should absolutely have a house party. Because house parties are fun. I don't know that we really had a house party at my I don't I'm still afraid of my mom, so I won't finish that sentence. We'll talk about that offline. But I went to epic house parties and they were always so much fun.
My mom and dad used to throw house parties because they were still pretty young in the 90s. You know,
yeah,
they
mine
were
too.
in their like late 20s, early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So they were that age, and they used to throw really crazy house parties, and they would put us in the master bedroom and barricade the door and order like mad pizzas and just put on a movie or something.
My earliest house
I was
party
the oldest. Oh, go ahead. Okay.
My earliest house party memory was my parents, they worked for IBM, and there was like a whole black collective of cats that worked there. They called themselves the Posse. And one of them cats, his name was Jeff Daniels. And he had this house. Every New Year's he'd have a party. And so that was the first time I really saw my parents cut loose, and they were dancing to Flashlight in the living room. And
I love it.
Yeah, so P-Funk, you know, right full circle, right? And I just saw them cut loose, and they were just getting it on the dance floor. But they had the kids downstairs, and the kids were watching. You know, this is anywhere from like my young age, single digit age, to like teenagers about to go to college. You know, and they were down there just watching Def Comedy Jam, and that was the first time I saw Def Comedy Jam. And you know, that was back when Martin was the host.
Yeah.
So you know, that was like, yeah, that. So wow, yeah, I have a connection to house party, but like, you know, these other auxiliary cats who were in the movie, just in a different context.
Yeah, my house was always the party house too. My parents would like, and like we used to like begrudgingly, because we had to clean the house when my parents were having a party, right? Everybody clean upstairs, clean downstairs, clean all the bathrooms, da 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 da. And so we used to do that, but it's like my house was the party house. Even when I got older and our friends would come over, like we would be the gathering place. Everybody would come and meet, and they'd pick us up and we'd leave. But like my house was a party house. My parents would have parties. Everyone would come over there. My mom would cook all the food. They play music. You know, they'd dance in the yard. They dance inside. The younger kids would be downstairs watching whatever they watched at the time. But it was a good time, and I think it's what kind of like forged my sense of hospitality and wanting to like. My regret is that my apartment is so small, because I would be like, when I had my other apartments in Queens and stuff, I'd have dinner parties. I'd invite people over and feed them and stuff, and I can't do that here. But yeah, a good house party, there's nothing like it.
I had a house party for my 35th, but then Radar had to go out of town to like Georgia or something, like the country.
Oh, I was about to be like, yeah, well, why wasn't I there? What was going on?
Yeah.
At a gig.
Just last minute, you had to fly to Georgia, the Republic of Georgia.
Passport.
Yeah, and some money in my bank account.
Yep.
I think the last. Also, well, that's a whole story. Wow. I think the last epic house party I went to was in college. Like, my friends, we used to throw parties at their house in the Bronx, like way up on like 220 somethingth, which is not that far in the Bronx, but still way up in the Bronx. But then I remember one from college where we threw, I think it must have been somewhere towards the end of the year, and we threw a party in the basement of my friend's apartment, because we lived in these houses, like this, I don't know, like row houses or whatever. And everybody in that house agreed to have a party. So like all the doors are open. And I remember me and three of my friends were like, you know, we're gonna go back to her house, like 3 houses down, to like chill out for a minute. And I remember being on the balcony smoking a cigarette, and all of a sudden I saw public safety roll up. And the next thing you know, for the next 10 minutes, there were just people streaming out of that house. It was like I wish I had a video phone at the time, because I didn't have one back then. It was just like endless people just walking down the street who were all streaming. How we fit that many people in the house, I don't know, but like it was epic.
It looked like the Gin and Juice video.
Oh my God, just like exactly. It was exactly like that. People just like streaming out of there, running away, and just like there's nothing they could do. There's too many people for public safety to stop and be like, right, where are you coming from?
Yeah. And my first house party was one that my babysitter took me to when I was like 6 in East Nashville.
I'd like to hear that story.
Yeah.
I would too. Oh, I remember we did a house party for New Year's Eve one year, and my I won't say who it was. Somebody's house, somebody who was at the party that we went to, we ended up breaking their jacuzzi bathtub. I was just there. I don't know what actually happened. But yeah, we weren't invited back.
I was gonna say
that was the whole thing.
To Max, that means when you were like 5, your party was like a big blowout with a bar, because I know all my parties had open bar. Like my earliest birthday party that I remember, I think I was like 6, and there was open bar. Everybody was drinking, and I was put in a room with a babysitter.
Peter Griffin
from my own party. Hey, Peter Griffin.
Yeah, that shit is great. I see pictures of my first birthday party. I'm like, that must have been the vibe, because just like there's so many people there. I remember my 5th birthday party. Is it my 5th or my 7th birthday party? Because I had a cousin whose birthday was really close to mine, like 2 days after me, and like huge birthday party for that too. Before we stop, I just want to mention real quick that scene where kid is like jumping through the yards because he's like running into full force, like on the streets after all this shit talking, and he's just trying to go home, and they run into the house where they're having like the funeral or something, and that woman is like, "Get some chicken, baby." Yeah. I was dying when I saw that. I was like, yo.
I thought you were gonna say the guy who was having sex and didn't stop his stroke to reach for a gun.
No, he just reached over. He's just like, whew.
He's the real MVP.
He literally did not stop stroking until he was ready to fire shots.
Yep, that's how you got to do it, yo. You got to maintain your position, and then bust them shots out, in multiple ways.
I was about to say, I like the pun.
Yeah. Bars. Speaking of the chase, like that chase towards the end where kids like hiding in the fridge and all that, and you see the two.
Did that remind you of Punky Brewster? No, just me. Okay, go ahead.
I've only seen a couple episodes because I didn't grow up here.
The part where so he's hiding in the fridge, and you see those burglars running down the street, or those robbers running down the street with like a random assortment of stuff. Then they hop on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all remember that?
He had the hair dryer, the
Yeah.
hooded dryer still on his head.
Yeah. Those are the writers and producers of the movie. Those are the Hudlin brothers.
No
Oh.
shit.
Yeah, that's Reggie and Warrington Hudlin. Those are the guys who created House Party.
Oh, well, shout out to you guys for I love a good cameo.
Jackie, this babysitter of yours was a little bit too lit.
Yo, shout out to your babysitter, Jackie.
Shout out to your babysitter.
She knew how to do it.
Shout out to one of my favorite babysitters.
You got an innocent face. No one's gonna suspect you. Steal these whatchamacallits.
I love whatchamacallits.
Oh, the reason it reminded me of Punky Brewster is because there's an episode where Cherry hides in a refrigerator when they're playing hide and seek, but she can't open it from the inside, and she passes out. And when they finally find her, like I think they have to like resuscitate her or something like that. Or maybe I added
Punky
that.
Brewster?
That was Punky Brewster.
So
yeah,
traumatizing.
Did they resuscitate her? I can't remember, but I know she was unconscious.
I
They
hope
pulled
so.
her
I
on the
mean,
fridge. No, I mean she lived. She
Yeah.
lived, but then there was like a PSA at the end about like not hiding in refrigerators.
Don't hide in your fridge.
Yeah. That was like the 80s with like
Wow.
those message episodes.
It was a
I
very
love those
special
message
episode.
episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very special episode.
Next on the
Speaking
very
of
special
message
episode of Punky
episodes.
Brewster.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna say, speaking of message episodes, we are gonna be "Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood."
yes,
Yeah.
so that will be
That's our
what, the
next one.
14th?
I think so.
I think so. March 14th, we'll do Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. And our guest will be the beautiful and wonderful Shalia Monet. So who can quote that movie line for line, like the entire movie. So I can't wait. It's like her favorite. So I can't wait to have her on to talk about it. I don't know what else
The
we're going to do.
14th.
Yeah,
We're
the
doing
14th. We'll be back here.
And then we're taking a break.
Have a problem.
I already
Do you
know
want
how
to
I'm
join
doing
us
my
for
hair
that too?
I might pull up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, join us. It's a
I'll do
funny
it
movie.
for you, Vixen 5. Message.
Message. I'm just gonna highlight it just because.
we haven't talked about Boomerang, but get your petties for that one. If you want to do that, Max, we can do Boomerang.
Do you want to do Boomerang with us, Max?
I'd be excited to watch that.
I'd love to talk about how Marcus was trash.
Let's do it.
It's a nipple. I know because I'm drooling.
Max is down. All right, Boomerang it is.
All right, we'll do Boomerang at some point with Max. I like how this has turned into us just watching 90s movies when it was supposed to be like everything.
And I was so tired of straightening my hair, so let's do something else after that.
Real shit.
I was thinking that when I was looking for something to wear, I was like, I think I'm done. I can't do any more no 90s. I don't have any oversized stuff.
No, my t-shirt I feel like is very 90s.
Your t-shirt is very
Absolutely.
90s.
Yeah. Sarah gave me this.
You could have
She
worn
bought
that
it
to
at
the
a
party.
museum.
You
That's
could have worn
true.
that to the house party.
And
Yeah,
we'll
need to talk about this house party.
We should have this house party.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we should. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my kids, but
Fuck them kids.
We'll find it.
and on that
We'll
note,
find a
this
nanny.
has been-
Use your protection and all your birth controls and all the things, unless you want.
unless you want Grimlock and Sulu to drive you crazy.
Can't believe those names stuck. It's
I
amazing.
know. Grimlock's my
They
favorite.
got internet names, you know.
Look at him back there.
Gotta
All
find
high-
something with shoulder pads.
Oh yes.
It's bringing flashbacks of my mom.
Oh man, my mom too. She stayed with them shoulder pads and pantsuits. So to think, I'm like, ma'am, you're like 36. What are you doing?
About to send this fax and then go play in the Super Bowl.
Oh, compliment on your vest, Nikki.
Thank you. It's a whole dress thing, but you can only see from here down. Cool.
Okay.
I'm wearing sweatpants as always.
But it's yes, I was giving 90s job interview at a party. That was my theme.
I'm not mad at it. Well, we've come
Sorry.
on over an hour.
We made it.
We made terrible, terrible, terrible. We have reached our hour mark. Actually, we surpassed it, but that's okay because nobody's going to take us out back and shoot us in the leg for it. so it's all right.
Or burn our houses down.
Or
and
burn
wait
our
to see
houses
the
down
bats as we
so they
come
can-
running out screaming.
I just that just made me want to watch it again.
I know.
Great movie. Any closing remarks? Nikki, you go first.
Yes. Why did you call his mother a gardening tool?
They both look so confused.
I love that's like one of my favorite moments because they look at each other and it was just like, oh, this is an explanatory comma thing.
So they were
Okay.
both confused by that, and I loved it.
Can we see if you could still do the kid play dance on one foot with great
Peter,
balance?
you missed that because you were late. We've already discussed how we do not have the stamina or
Yeah,
ankles or
I
knees.
Here's
tried
the
it
thing about the
yesterday.
dance.
I was gonna say I tried it yesterday, and my hip has been hurting me all day. So there's
Yeah.
that.
I haven't done that dance since Tanya and I and my wedding night.
Oh yeah, with Danny
Yeah,
Danny
did that.
McLean.
Shout out Danny McLean.
You just
Yeah.
don't have the
He
coordination.
sang
last-
at our wedding.
The last time I did it was at your friend Justin's wedding.
Oh, word.
Me
Okay.
and Steve.
Ah, yes.
Yes, we were
Very
good and liquored up.
Yeah.
I think you have to be. I feel like that's the only way.
To be dancing that hard at my big age, yeah.
I mean, I will dance hard at any age if given the right circumstances, you know.
I am not an athlete. My joints hurt.
The right
I mean, mine do
circumstances for
too.
me is
I
3
can't
days
walk
off.
for 2 days after like I do that. My knees hurt, you know, all the things. but it's just like I like to be able to dance that hard whenever the opportunity arises. And I feel like, you know, we're old
I
now.
did
We
it.
know how to like
I drank
the
32
thermic
ounces
hairs
of Guinness
on.
in an hour.
Oh, snap.
Congratulations. Please drink water.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna sleep good.
Shout out to our drinks and our wines. Do we want
Closing remarks from you, Radar?
Listen to Kid and Play. You know, like this movie is a great time capsule that celebrates a really, really amazing time period in hip hop. You know, and these cats were really pioneers for what a lot of these artists want to do today. You know, so like, you know, they were the first rap group with a TV show, a cartoon. You know, they had these amazing movies and they broke through in a way that was respectable. You know, a lot of people went at MC Hammer for the way he did it, but no one ever went at Kid and Play because they were authentically, you know, themselves in a way that was relatable. And so I just, you know, my closing remarks are let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate this Black excellence on the last day of Black History Month. You know, listen to their records, listen to Getting Funky, you know, Rolling with Kid and Play, Do This My Way, where you can watch the Kid and Play step in there. Find someone to dance with, you know, enjoy the
Find
music.
someone to dance with. Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
if I have a house
that's what it
party,
is.
first of all, Radar, will you DJ? Because it's like I want you to DJ, but I want you to dance. So it's rough.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do an hour or so, you know, but I'm
If you
gonna...
give me an hour lesson, I will hold down the decks while you and Tanya do the Kid and Play dance.
Oh, I was gonna slow grind to Always and Forever, but okay, that too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you guys can do both. I mean, if I can take over for an hour, you can do all those things.
You just have to force
Or-
some of your friends or your students or something.
Yeah, we'll get somebody. We'll get somebody to
Force
film it
somebody.
too, because I'm not
Yeah.
working in that capacity.
Yeah. No.
Shit, I wanted to say something that I don't remember. No.
Oh, watch House Party
that's
2
something you
as
just
well
said.
too, because that one's a good movie too.
Don't be a menace. Shit. I don't remember now. Damn. I'll have to tell you guys offline if it comes back to me.
Word.
All right. Well,
Wait, do you have closing remarks, Tanya?
me,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
my closing
Who,
remarks.
me?
Damn.
My closing. I'm so distracted.
Grimlock's got closing remarks.
Yeah. What are my closing remarks? Keep your options open, you know.
Hedge your bets.
If the homie's cute too, don't be afraid to shoot your shot.
It ain't fun if the homies can't get none.
You know, you got to play a numbers game. That's all I'm saying. Dick is abundant and of low value.
We should
So
just make that the thumbnail for this.
I actually have that on a picture
I
with
know.
roses. Yeah, I sent
I
it to you,
saved.
didn't
I've saved it like 5 times.
I? It's all a numbers game. And with that, we have been 1,000 Eyes on One. This is Radar Ellis. Radar, do you have anything to promote before we go?
Yeah,
Friday,
promote.
Valedictorians at Secret Pour in Brooklyn.
Ooh.
My students, my lab monitors at the new school, and they're going to be DJing. I'm going to
Secret
be
Pour?
DJing as well. Yeah, it's a place called Secret Pour in Brooklyn.
I've been there.
And oh, word, yeah, the homie
Mhm.
Roberto de Jesus runs that spot, and he's given us a night. It's going to be a monthly, first
time?
Fridays every month, 10 p.m. till they close.
I'm so old.
Yeah,
I was like 10.
it's 1114 DeKalb Ave, 1114 DeKalb Ave. We're going to be rocking. It's going to be myself, DJ Ezra, Max, and DJ Late for Dinner. So those are going to be the 3 lab monitors / DJs holding it down. Everyone's going to get an hour each, and we're just going to party, play some good records.
Can I be guest on the list? Because maybe I'll come.
Sure. I mean, it's free. So,
Oh,
I just,
okay.
No,
yeah, it's
even
free
better.
admission.
I'll put free in all caps in the comments.
Yeah, it's for free.
I'll be home with our kids.
Get a babysitter. Well, I have a class the next day at 11, so I don't know if I'm going to do it. But I'll think about it because it's not far from me. I've been in a Secret Pour before.
Word. Yeah, come on, come through.
Shout out to Freestyle Mondays. That's the last time I was there.
Oh, dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Freestyle Mondays, yo.
Yes, Fridays, Max.
Well spoken.
Is it one Friday a month?
Mm-hmm. Right now, it's set up for the first Friday of every month.
Okay, first Friday. Put that in the comments.
Also known as Bandcamp Fridays. So support your artists on Bandcamp, buy their records so they get 100% of the proceeds.
Word. For real. Yeah. Other than that, listen to Lakeisha Benjamin.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go ahead and
It is. It's like I was gonna text her earlier. Like this has been the year of Lakeisha.
Yeah.
It is. I told her she's gonna win a Grammy next year.
Fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
I just put Lakeisha Benjamin for the win. Look her up. She's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
You know,
She's so dope.
listen
She's
to her
been dope
album.
for so long.
Listen to her album to set off your Women's History Month tomorrow.
Oh yes.
Word.
Oh,
Word.
what what is it? Book month, Readers Month. What is it
It's
again?
National Readers Month.
National Readers Month. Starting tomorrow. We'll be posting books in our stories, just books we love, books that had an impact on us, things we didn't cover in book club.
Or what we won't cover probably in book club.
Right.
We're not. But hold on. I just have to say this. Just because we didn't say it doesn't mean we don't love it. We're not going anything that's on the list is not anything that we've covered in book club. We're like, we love those books already.
Yeah.
So unfortunately that means N.K. Jemisin. Justina Ireland. We know we love your books, but they won't be on these lists.
Yeah. Some stuff's too obvious. Like I probably shouldn't put a Game of Thrones.
Yes, Vixen 5, the Phoenix album. Yes. Produced by Terry Lynn Carrington, who Radar Ellis knows very well. Shout out to TLC on her Grammy and all the things.
Shout out to Radar getting his Grammy with Terry Lynn.
Yeah, well, we got nominated. We didn't win that year.
Well, you still got a certificate. It matters.
Yeah.
I never been nominated for a Grammy. Nikki has one. I like to post about her. I don't have one. I'll say I didn't try for one, but still. It'd be nice to be honored.
Yeah.
We'll get you one.
I'm just gonna be executive producer on everything until something sticks.
Yo, hit up Igmar for the big band record. Try to get your
executive produce it.
Yeah.
You could write the liner notes. I'll help you.
There you go.
Can we just shout out to the Revive Big Band too? Because I haven't seen them since the last time I recorded them in the studio, but I had a friend, Mitra, who was here for Coming to America, saw them at the Kennedy Center last Friday or Saturday. And she was like, it was face meltingly good.
Oh, and Radar did that show.
Yeah.
Yeah. She said she had 2 Ellises in 1 week.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's love.
And it was just shout out to Igmar, who was on our first 30 Tuesdays, right? For House of the Dragon. And wow, just the music is so good. It's so good. Like they did.
Thank you.
I'm excited for that to get out into the world because amazing.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thanks, Jackie.
Yeah.
Shout out to my sister Jackie, who's recovering from surgery.
It's
Yeah, well,
just like the
soon.
shout outs
If we,
for 20 minutes.
it is because you know
I mean,
what?
we
If
black,
we do
yo.
it, if we any Jim Carrey movie, we should have her on because she is.
Oh,
his
we should do the
biggest fan.
Grinch.
We can do the
fucking
Grinch. We
love
can do
that
Ace
movie.
Ventura. We can do any of those.
The Grinch is my shit.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys have suggestions for stuff for us to cover, and it doesn't have to be from the past, it can be current. We recently
Because we
did-
want to
I like
do
that
everything
Grinch.
everywhere all at once. That was
Yes.
maybe going to be our tentative Women's History Month. And
Ooh,
shout
fire.
out to oh my god, her name is falling out of my head.
Who?
Lead actress. She just won a SAG
Michelle
Awards
Yeoh?
for this. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. Because she just won SAG Award for Best Actress.
Uh-oh,
Nice.
okay.
So shout out to her, the first Asian American to win that award.
Nice.
Period. So yeah,
Very dope.
if you guys haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, it is one of my favorite movies. Like immediately got to the top.
Yeah,
of my
it's
list.
definitely an instant fave.
Yo,
Yeah.
that her winning that award and being the first Asian is very dope, but also very sad. Because why
Yeah.
in 2023 is she the first?
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
I mean,
But
That's a
let's
whole
sell
other
it. I'm gonna
episode.
be on the bright side of this because it's a win and that's great.
mm-hmm. Da 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 da. All right.
All right, so I guess we'll end here. We've been saying goodbye for like 15 minutes.
Come on, yo, we black. It
It's
takes
Black
like a half
History
hour
Month.
to-
Like,
It is the last day of Black History Month. Next
Yeah.
topic.
who do we still
On to
love?
House Party 2.
House Party 2.
Yeah.
Shout out to hip hop's 50th year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The 50th birthday of hip hop.
God,
Drink
he's still
to that.
awake. I'm finished with my drink.
I'm still drinking. I'm almost done.
I'm done with my drink.
Mm.
Rimlock is gonna beat my ass.
What's the name of that guy from Boston who had that song about drinking and smoking that we used to play at Holy Cross all the time?
Wait, which guy from Boston? That's a lot of people.
I know. I've had the blunt in my left hand and the drink in my right hand. I'm just drinking, smoking. Trying to get you out of my head. I think it's Dave Hollis or something.
Dave Hollister's from Boston?
Second. Hold on, I'm gonna find it.
Oh, we forgot to talk about Tap the Bottle and Twist the Cap.
Mm. Yeah,
Tap the bottle and twist the cap.
that's a group called the Young Black Teenagers. And one of the members was Jamal in House Party 2. And they have that name because they
Dave
lost,
Young, sorry.
They have that name because they lost either it was a coin toss or some sort of bet with Public Enemy and Leaders of the New School. And Chuck D was like, one of you guys is going to be named Leaders of the New School, and the other group is going to be named Young Black Teenagers. So I guess they lost the bet, and they took the name Young Black Teenagers. And Busta and his group were named Leaders of the New School. Yeah,
I
this
just
is
know
all
that
Chuck
one
D's
song.
fault.
Blame Chuck D. All right, guys, we're gonna say goodnight for real now because it's
Yeah.
Good
Been a
night for
while.
real. And we'll do a hip hop 50th 30 Tuesdays because I think that's necessary.
yeah,
Oh.
that'd be a good idea. Would you like Crush Groove or something?
Crush grooving, all you can eat.
I love All You Can Eat. That's exactly why I thought of it.
Yeah.
I love All You Can Eat.
I'm hungry, please. I will absolutely pull up for that.
All right. So, but next month is again March 14th. Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
Yeah.
And you know our links are always somewhere in there. You know how to find us
Somewhere
here. You're on here.
Slide
so
into
you
our
can see us.
DMs. Tell us. Talk to
Yes, send us messages if you have suggestions or something you want to talk about. It can be current, it can be old, doesn't matter. Movies, TV, whatever. And on that note, we bid you adieu. Good night.
Peace.